lot of conversations online on women frustrated with following trends, not understanding them, and just wanting to stick to basics. I think trends are really misunderstood. They're not really discussed from a socio-cultural perspective, so I want to get into it. First of all, there's a lot of validity around the frustration of consumerism. However, there is a larger dynamic of fashion and trends that has always existed. Now back up, what do trends even really mean? Well, they're actually social ideas for a group or point in time. They can reflect cultural frameworks, political standpoints, and identity. For example, the space age trend of the 1960s, color Abayas happening now in the UAE, cheetah print, minimalism, maximalism. They come from movements already existing in society. We get attracted to certain ones because we have an emotional connection to the identity or statement that it's making. These aren't just something a big corporation is coming up with in their labs and trying to sell to you, although they definitely are trying to sell to you. One of the best frameworks that helped me understand trends was French sociologist Bourdieu's field theory. Field theory can be used to see the dynamics in fashion and how they come to be and how they affect different groups. There are 4 quadrants and all of us in society fall somewhere within it. It's also a spectrum, so keep that in mind too. Quadrant 1 is the bourgeoisie. Think established values, old money. An example would be presidents or royalty, brands like Loro Piana. Quadrant 2 is the petite bourgeoisie. Think new money, avant-garde. An example would be an unconventional artist, brands like Paco Rabanne or Rick Owens. Quadrant 3 is the trend follower. Think mass trends. They embody new socially accepted ideas. Think about the trendy Instagrammer, brands like Zara, Revolve, Topshop. Quadrant 4 is the established follower. They embody established fashions and follow traditional ideas. Think about the practical dad. The brands are like Marks & Spencer's, Target, Walmart, this kind of thing. How do these quadrants work in reference to each other? Quadrant 1 is establishing the ideas. Quadrant 2 is trying to redefine them. Quadrant 3 is moderating avant-garde ideas with what is established from Quadrant 1 or traditional fashion. Quadrant 4 is not challenging any of the norms and accepting what is set from Quadrant 1. For example, let's look at denim. Quadrant 1 or traditional fashion may look at denim in this way and define it this way. Quadrant 2 or avant-garde may repurpose it into a new concept, embodying it in this way. Quadrant 3 or trendy fashion then takes extract of that idea and repurposes it into an accepted trend today. Meanwhile, Quadrant 4 is still wearing denim the same way Quadrant 1 defined it. Keep in mind, the avant-garde fashion is deeply symbolic. It's actually testing new ideas that are very anti-establishment. Some of these ideas society resonates with and some of them don't, and that is where the trend followers come in. I think when a lot of people think of fashion, they think of the avant-garde fashion, which is why a lot of people get a bit intimidated by saying that they resonate with fashion. But really, those are the pioneers of new ideas, and it makes sense not everyone feels like they are in that position. You need to have high economic capital to pull something like that off, quite honestly. It's not as socially acceptable for someone to wear something like this when you go to your 9-to-5 corporate job. It's just not something that's practical or really accepted. So there is kind of a unique function of these trendsetters to make that accessible in these different situations in society. And what there's also evidence of is if mass fashion, mass trendy fashion gets strong enough, it can work its way up to that Quadrant 1 and affect what is the social standard. You can even start to see that with high fashion brands adopting certain pieces that are trendier just because it is so powerfully led and advocated for by mass trendy fashion. Keep in mind the field of fashion is culturally relevant. Depending on where you are in the world, different fashions may have different placeholders. I think understanding the field of fashion is so empowering to see the overall dynamics. I also think it just advocates for a lot of tolerance for different types of embodiments in fashion. I just see so much judgment in this space, and it's quite unnecessary because we all work off each other. And I think when you can appreciate that viewpoint, you can appreciate each other a lot more too. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you can kind of understand trends more and how they work, how they come to be. Let me know if you have any requests for me to dive into a specific trend and what it meant for that time period or group, or even anything that's happening today. If you enjoyed this, please like the video. And if you like fashion, cross-cultural dialogues, or just getting to know me more, please subscribe. It's really fun growing this community and having more engagements from you guys. So that's it for tonight, and thank you so much for watching.